Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks, live again, Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. I should say. I was going to say 7:35 p.m. Currently, but 7:30 p.m. Sunday is the usual time for the 7:30 live stream, 7:35 tomorrow and during the week, of course, as you guys know. But back again today with another look at what's caught my attention in the press here in Spain over the last couple of days. Also go into the comment section, see what's happening there. And then in the second half of the live stream, around the 20-minute mark, we'll go into the chat section and check out what is happening there. So hopefully there will be plenty of activity in the chat section. So feel free to add your 20 cents worth to what's going on here. I've already seen a lot of people in the chat section already talking about a wine that people have bought, the Governor. So we'll check out some of those comments in about 20 minutes time. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is put the like icon on the screen. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so just below the video, and we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today. Let's see. Now, the first piece of news today, as you guys know, we're in, it's an election year here in Spain, election campaign. Although the official campaign really hasn't started, politicians around the country are giving their weekly meetings, as they call them here. They go to different parts of the country and they announce different things, especially the Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. And yesterday he announced that they're going to promote a new law, or they're going to announce a new law promoting gender parity in politics and business. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez on Saturday announced the gender equality law that will require more equal representation of women and men in politics, business, and other spheres of public life. The equal representation law will apply gender parity measures to electoral lists, the boards of directors of big companies, and governing boards of professional associations. Sánchez made the announcement during a Socialist Party rally ahead of International Women's Day on March the 8th. It will be approved during Tuesday's cabinet meeting before going for debate in Parliament. He said the government was not only taking a step in favour of feminism, but in favour of Spanish society as a whole. And as I said, an election year this year, and feminism has been one of the big pushes that this government has been leading for the last few years. We've seen different laws coming out of the equality. See if I can get that word out. The Equality Ministry, Irene Montero, of course, and Pedro Sánchez there announcing the new gender parity in politics and also business. So we'll see how that one goes for the government and also for Spanish society as a whole. Second piece of news, and these are some of the big stories that are dominating the press at the moment. We can see here the Ferrovial case, and the government has said to that company that they will not tolerate you calling into legal question legal certainty in Spain. No one remembers a direct confrontation of this calibre between a Prime Minister and one of the three richest men in the country, Rafael del Pino, Executive Chairman of Ferrovial. Not even in the times of José María Ruiz Mateos, when Rumasa was under government control, was there such a direct clash with the president. In fact, he clashed with the finance minister, Miguel Boyer. Pedro Sánchez gave a very clear order this Wednesday morning. This cannot stay like this. Ferrovial's decision is a blow to Spain's image and, above all, that the government cannot tolerate a company that has got fat on public contracts now calling into question the legal security of its country precisely at a time when foreign investment is multiplying. So basically that's the issue. The government thinks that this company should be loyal to Spain. Pedro Sánchez calling the owner of that company, the Del Pino family, almost traitors, I think he's used that word. I mentioned that yesterday, saying that they should stay in Spain, given that the country has been generous to that company, especially when it comes to public contracts. And let's be honest, here in Spain, there's probably 5 companies that have benefited from the majority of big public contracts over the last 30 or 40 or even longer. I think Ferrovial started back in the 1950s here in Spain. It was set up by the current president's father back in 1952, I think it was. I read that the other day, and they have benefited, of course, from all of that growth that the country's gone through, all of the money that has come into Spain from foreign investment, European Union funds, and all of those things. 5 companies really have shared all of that money to build public works in this company. Concession roads, bridges, highways, basically you name it, Ferrovial has been there doing that. They also are involved in construction of houses and things like that, apartment blocks and things like that as well. But those big public works are where Ferrovial has made its money. They have gone international over the last few decades as well. They're in many other countries around the world, the States, Canada, Australia, to name three, with public concessions when it comes to, again, toll roads and things like that. So a big company, but as we know, the government not happy that they're talking about leaving Spain. What are some Spanish economists saying? Well, this one here, Juan Ramon Rayo, says Ferrovial flees an incorrigible Spain. The reasons why Ferrovial has left Spain seems more or less clear: legal uncertainty and public debt overhang. The former makes it difficult for the company to predict its future, and the latter causes it to incur financing cost overruns, since Spain's poor credit rating is contagious for companies based here. It should come as no surprise, therefore, that an infrastructure company whose business model consists of taking care of the very long term should be concerned about both in order to continue growing and generating value for its shareholders. The exit of one of our main companies should, in short, push the Spanish political class, not only the current government parties, as it is not only theirs, to rethink what we are doing wrong as a country, that is, what a defective institutional framework we are designing. How is it possible that regulation of any kind, not just fiscal regulation, does not stop giving ideologized swings left, right, and centre? Or how is it possible that we have accumulated huge levels of public debt without any government leader trying to reduce it at an accelerated pace? So the words are fairly clear here from Mr. Rayo, that the problem is the Spanish government. Doesn't matter whether it's left or right. There's too much ideology in politics, and saying that Ferrovial should, well, I'm not saying whether they should leave, but he can understand their argument for leaving when it comes to a solid legal framework in which to do business, and also the problem of financing when it comes to the Spanish government's debt rating, which is a problem for many companies, and companies that are based in Spain are also having problems getting financing as a result of that credit rating. So that's the argument I think that Mr. Rayo there is putting forward. An interesting one. And the final piece of news today, the other scandal that's dominating press at the moment, the Mediator case. We can see here this one. Caso Mediator, 110,000 in transfers, 2.5 million euros in contracts, and an unknown amount in cash. On the 6th of November 2020, the then Director General of Livestock of the Canary Islands government, Taichet Fuentes, started the alleged pressuring of businessmen that is being investigated in the Mediator case. With a text message, he passed on to the intermediary the contact of a cheese businessman who had a problem with the government. He had to return a subsidy of 74,000 euros. On the same day, his uncle, an MP for the PSOE, sent the same intermediary the account number of a sports organisation for children that he himself presided over. There, the businessman made a deposit of 5,000 euros. On paper, it was help for children to play football. For the National Police, it was the first payment to ensure that the funds were not returned, a strategy that, in any case, did not work. So, as I said, this case dominating press here at the moment, another corruption scandal. Fortunately, it was cut off at the roots, let's say. It only lasted about a year, I think. They found out about it and cut it off. But 2 million was the amount of money that apparently we're talking about. And basically what happened was that businesses in the Canary Islands that were related to farming and agriculture were getting European funds. Sometimes the paperwork didn't go through properly. They had trouble getting these funds, and these two people put their hand up to act as we saw there, middlemen, in order to get the political side over the line, and in exchange for kickbacks. And that's where the problem lies. And apparently they didn't even help those people get the subsidies. That's one of the problems. And where was the money spent? Well, the money was spent a lot of the times on fancy parties, with girls and drugs and lots of alcohol and all of those things. That is what happened with the money. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, one of the people involved says that that was a typical Saturday night for many people involved in this case. So interesting. Now, the final piece of news caught my attention about Spanish food in Los Angeles, California, and apparently it is suddenly LA's hottest cuisine is Spanish food. Los Angeles is having a Spanish moment. Los Angeles isn't just having a Spanish moment anymore. It's practically an explosion. Over the past half decade, Spain's varied, malleable, and deeply regional cuisine has taken over the hearts and minds of many diners in LA, and the movement is still gaining strength. Prior to 2018, Los Angeles' Spanish food scene had ebbed and flowed, but had never reached high tide. In the mid-aughts, there were mostly casual spots like Spain Restaurant on Glendale Boulevard in Echo Park, Santa Monica's Manchego and La Paella on San Vicente Boulevard near the Beverly Center. The more the better now, says Sander Cordero of Gasolina. Spanish food has been so underrated in Los Angeles. There simply wasn't a lot of places to go for a long time, I should say. So, Spanish food, there, LA's hottest cuisine. And I suppose it is difficult in that part of the world, especially where there is a big Mexican influence, I imagine, on the cuisine in that city, and Spanish food trying to break through, and people trying to distinguish the difference between the two. And there is, as we know, a huge difference between Mexican cuisine, for example, Latin American cuisine, and Spanish cuisine. So, interesting. If you're in LA, let us know what the Spanish food scene is like. Is it as that article says? Now, the like button's going back on the screen again. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. We're up to 57 at the moment. Let's hope we can get up to around 100. Let's see. Now, first comment that was left on a video recently. This one here from John. Regarding the different police corps in Spain, perhaps you could have mentioned that each of these will often try their best to pass your case like a hot potato to any type of police other than their own. At least that's my experience in Catalonia. Each corps has distinct responsibilities, so sometimes it's hard to know whether to call the Guardia Urbana, Policía Nacional, or the Mossos de Escuadra. Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. When we were talking about police here in Spain, because one of the people implicated in this caso Mediator is a Guardia Civil, a general in the Civil Guard. And we see this comment here from John regarding that it's not easy to get police services, according to John. They seem to pass the buck from one police to the other. I think if you call the general emergency number here in Spain, 112, you get put through to the police that will best deal with your specific situation. So if you get robbed, you'll get put through to the local police. If it's a more serious case, you'll get put through to the national police. And if it's a case for the Guardia Civil, you'll get put through to the Civil Guard. But I can understand that for some people it can be confusing. If you come from a country, let's say, that only maybe has one police force, where I come from in Australia, Western Australia, there's only one police force. You don't really have to worry about 2 or 3 different types of police. Of course, there's a federal police, but they take care of federal matters. But state police in Australia, I think that's the same in the States and in the UK. If I'm not mistaken, there's only one police force, I think, maybe 2. I'm not sure. But here in Spain, you've got, as I said yesterday, the Guardia Civil, National Police. Then you've got municipal police, local police at that level. And then in the Basque Country and Catalonia, they've got their own autonomous community police. So it can be confusing. But if you call that emergency number, I imagine, or I think you should get put through to the police that you need to be dealing with. Or at least I hope that is the case. Next comment, just curious about COVID-19 attitudes in Spain from HL. My daughter is a university student in the US and wants to travel to Spain this summer. She is not vaccinated for COVID-19. Will this be a hindrance to her travels, that is? Will she be prevented from entering venues, restaurants, museums, etc. due to the lack of C19 vaccination? Thanks. I enjoy your videos. Now, a few people replied to this comment, and the simple answer is no, your daughter will not be hindered in any way, shape or form here in Spain because she doesn't have a COVID vaccination. In fact, the whole COVID situation has been put behind us in this country. There are a few people that are still trying to hold on to it. We all know who those people are. They're trying to look for the truth. But for the rest of us, people have moved on. And unless you go to a hospital, a pharmacy, some type of medical centre, maybe you need to get treated in a medical centre, you'll have to put on a face mask. But nobody's going to ask you for any vaccination status. That was 2020. Maybe even 2021, I think, when those COVID vaccine certificates were asked in some places here in Spain. But since mid last year, maybe, was it, or the end of last year, the majority of rules and regulations regarding COVID have gone away. So just quickly, your daughter should not, as I said, be hindered in any way, shape or form here in Spain because she is unvaccinated. But thanks for asking. Another comment here from Sheila. I hope they get long prison sentences, but I suspect otherwise. Yes, Sheila, your suspicion would be right on the mark there, suspecting otherwise, because basically the reason there are corruption scandals here of this type is because people know that they can basically get away with it. The only person who's been arrested so far is the Civil Guard General. The Member of Parliament is accused, but he hasn't been put in jail, and he's lost his seat in the Congress. But of course, he'll probably go into some other type of political job, maybe out of the spotlight in the future. That is, if he is not convicted of this case. But basically, the reason that people do this here in Spain and other countries is because they think they can get away with it, or they're not going to go to prison for very long if they do get caught, and the lack of transparency, basically. But normally these cases get discovered, but as we have seen over the years, politicians that are involved in these cases don't generally go to prison for a long period of time, if they go to prison at all. In the case of the Andalusia ERE case, which was quite big, it was a huge amount of money that was stolen and misused, the politicians involved haven't entered prison yet. They're still waiting. So, yeah. That's one of the reasons why. So you're right to be suspicious there about those long prison sentences, Sheila. Another comment from Daniel. I have a friend in Madrid with a company who has managed to get some big contracts in Sweden. So she is now in the process of moving her company to Sweden. She herself very much would still live in Spain, who offer very attractive tax rates and conditions, Sweden that is, for companies from other European nations. It's like the Spanish government doesn't understand it has competition not just globally but within the EU for entrepreneurs. I myself would love to start a business in Madrid, but the taxes and red tape scare me off the idea. It was so much easier to open a business in Australia, mate. Yeah, there's a list of I think it's by the World Bank. It's called the Ease of Doing Business Index, and you can see all of the countries in the world where it's easy to do business. And Spain, I think, comes in position number 30, as do some other European countries. France, I think, comes in at position number 32. But the top countries in the world for starting a business and getting a business off the ground are New Zealand, and I can't think of the other ones. Maybe Sweden's in the top 10, it could be. But Spain's in position number 30. And the reason Spain's even in position number 30, because it's in the European Union, and the number one ease of doing business for Spain is the cross-border transactions in the European Union. Very easy to do business in other European countries. So that puts Spain in position number 30. But if it wasn't for that, Spain would be in position number 50 or 60, I imagine, on that list, because it is difficult doing business here. Red tape, for example. Big companies, legal security and things like that, as we saw earlier. So getting a business off the ground, starting a business, not easy in Spain. And as Daniel points out here, the friend taking business to Sweden because they want to attract your company there by offering more attractive tax rates. And it is true that one of the big issues within the European Union, and all of the countries seem to complain about this, but nobody ever does anything about it, is that different countries inside the European Union have different tax rates. So, for example, the Netherlands has a different tax rate, a more attractive business or corporate tax rate to Spain. Ireland has a more attractive corporate tax rate than Spain. Portugal has a more attractive corporate tax rate than Spain. The list goes on. So lots of places inside the European Union are competing with each other. But it's one thing that still stands in the European Union is that each country has its own tax system. When it comes to doing business. There's no unified tax system. I'm sure that some countries would like to see that scrapped, that there would be only one tax system in the European Union, but countries want to hold on to that sovereignty for various reasons. And Spain also, I imagine, wants to hold on to that tax sovereignty, and therefore they decide to tax at the rates that they want. So companies like Ferrovial or other companies like Daniel's friend will no doubt take their business or their companies elsewhere if they get more attractive tax rates. That's just doing business in the European Union. And the Spanish government is aware of the problem, but they're not willing to make it a more attractive place for some companies for whatever reason. No idea. Thanks for the comment. Next one here from Joe. What possible exam does a civil servant need to take? Face it, most of the tasks in the civil service can be done by anyone with a bit of common sense. But then again, that is exactly what's lacking from many of them. Yeah, Joe, civil service exams here in Spain, I don't know the ins and outs because I've never sat one, I've never studied for one, but I have spoken to people that have, and basically you need to know the ways that those public organisations work. So, for example, if we look at a simple example, which is the postal service here in Spain, Correos, one of my students is currently studying for that exam, and I said to him, what do you need to know to work in the post office? And he said, well, you need to know how the company works. You need to know the ins and outs of the postal system, and that's what they ask you in the exam. Is it true that with a bit of common sense you could pass one of these exams and hard study? Yes. Memorization? Yes. And that's what it is. Basically, you don't have to be a genius to get into the civil service. Depends on the level, of course, but you have to be a dedicated studier and be able to remember lots of information that they're going to ask you on the day, and hopefully you'll get a bit of luck with the questions and you'll be able to regurgitate all of that information on the day in question. So thanks, Joe, for that. Now we're up to the 22-minute mark, a bit over schedule with that today with that. But one more comment here from 123 Sean Away. I think gulas are baby eels elvers. Gulas angulas, I think they're called, are the elvas, the baby eels. The gulas are an artificial product. Not sure what they're made of. I think flour and oil or something like that. And it's this product here for people that are interested. You'll see this in many bars around Spain. They'll have this on the menu. And this is what gulas are. So it's not actually a seafood product like the elvas would be, but you can buy the small elvas or the angulas, I think they're called, but they're very, very expensive, where you can pick up the artificial product for a cheaper price. Not sure what you pay per kilo, but a lot cheaper, and people are willing to have that as a substitute to the real thing. But yeah, if you get the authentic product, very, very expensive, but the imitation product, better for people's finances, basically. So that's the reason. All right, good. Now we're up to 113 likes. We've got there 206 people watching. The like icon is going on the screen one more time. So if you haven't hit it yet, please do so. One more time now. I'll probably put it on before the live stream finishes. So hit the live stream if you can. Now I'm going to change the backdrop. This picture was sent in from Moret, and it's a picture from Mijas Pueblo, I think, down there in Andalusia, the Malaga province, and it's apparently town steps. So I like the colours, so this one's on the backdrop today. And if you've got a similar picture to Moret's here that you would like to send in, Moret I think is from Denmark, living down there in the south of Spain, you can send it into this email address here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. I'm a little bit tongue-tied today because I haven't slept very well, so my brain is not functioning at normal speed, so I apologise for the bad reading and pronunciation today. Yeah, so into the chat section now. Let's see what's going on. Plenty of activity. Let's see what's going on in the chat section. James and Kathy coming in from Worcester. in the United Kingdom. Hope to be in Cabo Rouge in 3 weeks, or Rouge, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Cabo Rouge, I think it is, in 3 weeks, and hope the weather is good for the drive down. Certainly, James and Kathy, I hope all goes well with that trip in 3 weeks' time. Next week, apparently, looking at the forecast, is going to be an absolute cracker in most of Spain. I think here in Madrid, it's going to get up to around 25 degrees next week, apparently. And I think it's going to be even hotter in some of the coastal areas of the country. So that's next week. Not sure whether it's going to change for 3 weeks, in 3 weeks' time. But anybody planning a trip to Spain next week is going to get some cracking weather. Thanks for the comment, James and Kathy. James coming in from, James saying that Liverpool hit 7 against Man U. I think somebody asked that in the chat section there, what the score was in the Premier League game. I think it was a Premier League game. Erica coming in from a milder but damp Terrassa. Hello, Erica. Hope all is well. Erica's also saying that one of her favourite wines is Toro also. My best experience with Rioja was from the wine co-op in Haro, in La Rioja, of course. A real Rioja. Yeah, absolutely. When you go to those places, you do get decent wine everywhere you go. Unlike the bottled stuff that you get in other parts of the country, which sometimes, as we know, it can be a little bit off the mark. But Toro, as I said the other day in that food video, in my top 5 wine areas in the country. There are plenty of different parts of the country where red wine is very, very good. But for me, Toro, right up there. Thanks, Erica. What else we got going on here? Bob had a bottle of the Governor last night, $2.85 from Mercadona. Yeah, Mugger also had a bottle as well. Sent me an email before saying that he's enjoying a bottle of the Governor. So obviously sales of the Governor have gone up recently. $2.85, as Bob points out here. Excellent value for money, but don't broadcast it. Sorry, Bob, too late. Didn't read that part of the chat. But it's a wine from Valdepeñas, and as we know, Valdepeñas is a very productive wine area. So there's going to be no shortages coming out of there. Do not worry. They take grapes from other parts of the country as well, I think, or they move their grapes to other parts of the country. In fact, I read somewhere once that Valdepeña, a lot of the excess grapes do go into the Rioja wines or the Ribera del Duero wines if there is a shortage there. So I'm sure that there won't be a shortage of the Governor, Bob. Thanks for the comment. What else we got going on here? Mugger, United lost 7-0. So that's in the comment section. Here we go. This is Mugger or Owen's comment here. Just getting with the Governor and a plate of pasta. Looking forward to the live stream. See how the Governor treats him. Let us know how the Governor is. Bob thinks it's right up there. Let us know, Mugger, what your opinion of the Governor. I still haven't been to Mercadona to get a bottle. I'm planning to go there this week if I can find the time. Got a few things on this week that have popped up over the last couple of days, so I might be a bit busy, but I will try. I will try to get my hands on a bottle of the Governor. The Governor. All right, what else we got going on here? Ricardo coming in from North London, have been catching up on your past updates. I'm shocked by the scandals that are going on in Spain. What do you think it is? Why do you think it is like that there? Well, as I said before, Ricardo, it's a lack of transparency. It's a lack of harsh sentences for this type of thing. People think they can get away with it. The money seems to never come back to where it's stolen from. It just disappears in foreign bank accounts. And we're not talking about a huge amount of money here. I think 2 million. I think they're talking about. But when you talk about some of those other cases where 600 million euros disappeared, huge amounts of money, and I don't think it ever comes back. Basically, that's one of the reasons. So a couple of years in jail for maybe 50 or 60 mil in the bank account there in Switzerland. I think that's the way it works. Is it worth it? I don't know. Is it worth doing a couple of years in the can for 20 mil? That's the question. A lot of people seems to think that it is. And you don't go to a high security prison either. You just go to one of these lower security prisons where a lot of people have done the same thing. What else we got going on here? Vincent coming in from Ireland. Michael coming in from Torrox. Amanda asked the score for the football game because she doesn't have Sky. So there we go. That's why we've seen the 7-zip scorecard here. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Let's have a look if I can go down. Alan's also in the chat section, coming in from Rosarito Beach in Mexico. So Alan's crossed the border, gone down Mexico way from San Diego. Not hard to get into Mexico from San Diego, just crossing the border down there into Tijuana. What else we got going on here? Stephen's just back from Torrevieja, sunny and warm by day, chilly by night, but still better than what's forecast this week for Enfield, North London. Yeah, the days here in Spain, especially in those coastal areas, they are sunny. When I was down in Murcia a couple of weeks ago, it was around the 18, 19 degree mark, so quite pleasant during the day, but a bit chilly at night. Whereas in a place like London, probably you don't get those good daytime temperatures at this time of the year. That's the difference, basically, I think. And I was watching a channel today of some people down in Murcia who are riding their bicycles around the Murcia region with their T-shirts and shorts. And that's also something that would be difficult to do in other northern European countries at this time of the year. So that's what Spain has got going for it. Simon coming in from Lanzarote, warming up today, clear blue skies in the mid-20s. There we go. Canaries, always a lovely place. Frank coming in from a cold Crawley. Love the videos. Keep them coming. Will do, Frank. Let's have a look at this one. John asking another question here. Do you know of, what's that? Cairo. They are online and show properties for sale and give information. Apparently, Palencia is the cheapest place to buy in Spain. Have stayed in the area many times. Yeah, probably you've stayed there, John, because you're coming down from the north of Spain to the south and you stop off in Palencia, which would be on the way. Palencia, of course, is a province in Castilla and Leon, one of the unknown provinces in the area, and it is cheap simply because people don't live in Palencia anymore. They have to live in other places. Young people don't have any opportunity in the villages there, so they move on to the big cities. I had a student last year that was his case. He had to work. He was working, I think he went to work in Bilbao, and then he joined the Civil Guard, but he was from a village in Palencia and goes back there whenever he can. And also extreme weather, hot summers, very, very cold weathers in Palencia. Think Burgos weather, and that's what it would be like in Palencia. Very good, but cheap property, no doubt, John, because of those reasons. Remy with a Y coming in from San Feliu. Strong north. The wind has gone now. Strong north wind, but it's gone now, says Remy. That's fantastic to hear that the wind has dropped off, because the wind is a real inconvenience when it's a cold wind. Here in Madrid, at least, that is the case. What else we got going on? Let's have a look. Shiny, shiny things. Watching from France. Say hello to Spain for them. Will do. Barbara coming in from the Playa Flamenca. Osuakat coming in from Oregon. Hope you are doing well, they say. Hope you are doing well there in Oregon as well, over there in the States. Where are you? In Portland? Let us know, Osuakat. Ed coming in also from Barcelona. Regular viewers, all of the people that I've shown so far. Looking forward to the hotter weather this week in Barcelona. I'm sure you are, as are a lot of people. Warming up. Here in Madrid, we've got a bit of rain to get through in the next few days. But as I said, next week, the temperatures are looking good. Mel coming in from a cold Cumbria. Snow on the forecast. There we go. Grant coming in from a cold but sunny Sierra. I saw the YouTube link that you sent me on Twitter the other day, Grant. I think it was about the cost of living, was it? Not sure. In Australia, I think that was the case. Or maybe it was another one that you sent me. Can't remember. But I saw a couple from you recently. Thanks for those. D coming in from Oliva. Liz also coming in from a rainy Madrid. Absolutely, Liz. Started raining this afternoon. I was in the centre of Madrid earlier today, yesterday as well, for a reason that I would have preferred not to have been in the centre of Madrid for the reason, but I was drawn to the centre. Yesterday was a great day. Nice sunny day, but it turned today, and the rain started coming down around 4 p.m. And not heavy rain, but persistent, let's say. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Richard coming in from North Yorkshire, saying hello to everybody. Hello, Richard. Hope all is well. Now, I'm just going to change the backdrop. We're up to the 34-minute mark, so I'm thanks for these colourful steps there in Mijas. We'll put a one here from Jim, which I think is a sunset of Torrevieja. There we go. From Jim's travels. Well, maybe that was Jim that was back in the UK now. Not sure. Let me go back and have a look. Maybe that's the same person. Let me have a look. Let me have a look quickly. Maybe not. Can't remember. All right, good. Keep on going here with the chat. No, Stephen was in Torrevieja. But this is apparently a sunset over Torrevieja from Jim. And thanks for sending that one through. Now, if you've got a similar photo that you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Or if you've got an interesting piece of news about Spain that you would like to send, you can find me on social media or at that email address. Send it through. As I said, Grant sent me a few interesting things earlier in the week. So send them through. All right, what else we got going on here quickly? Let me find where I was in the chat section if I can. Let me see. Where am I here? Let me see. There's a lot of comments to go through. All right, I'm back. Elaine coming in from Chatham, New Jersey. Hi, Elaine. 12 degrees there now. Michael talking about the Ferrovial case. Spanish government offended at being called legally unstable by Ferrovial. At the same time, the government now got a mandate board of directors composition. Crazy Sanchez needs to go. Yeah, not sure if he will go or whether he'll just shake up his government. I think he would like to govern without the coalition partner. I think that's what he's aiming for. But the way the polls are shaping up, that's not going to be the case. And apparently, these new corruptions, or this new corruption scandal, I should say. I don't think I heard there was another one in the works also today, also in the north of Spain. But I think he would like to govern alone. But whether that's possible, I do not know. And I'm sure that the Partido Popular would also like to govern alone. But that's also going to be difficult because Spanish politics has been blown wide open over the last decade. Lorenzo coming in from a cold London. I meant to say Marques de Riscal the other day as middle mesh on the bottle. Also like the much cheaper Lambrusco and Mercadona from Italy. Yeah, the Marques de Riscal. Yeah, it's one of the classics here in Spain. Yeah, you can find it in most supermarkets. In the big supermarkets mainly you will find Marques de Riscal with the metal mesh on it. Very strange design, that bottle with that metal mesh. I'm not sure what it's there for. And to get it off and to dispose of it's a bit of an inconvenience. But yeah, haven't had one for a while. But thanks for reminding me of that wine. Iggy coming in from a chilly Jaén still. Weather not improving down there. Apparently, I think next week's going to be a good one east. So we'll wait for that. Liz asking, have I heard whether Spain will end the golden visa program like Portugal did? I haven't heard anything about this yet, Liz, but the European Union mandate is for countries to scrap it. So Portugal scrapped it. Ireland, I think, has scrapped it. And it's only a matter of time before Spain scraps it as well. They'll probably wait until the last minute because they want that, those 500,000 euros coming into the country from each golden visa applicant. But it is causing problems in the European Union, apparently. Another example of a policy that has gone wrong. Try to attract people to the country by offering them a golden visa in exchange for large amounts of cash, and you get side problems. So no surprises there. But it is a European. I don't think it's an official directive or mandate, but they have suggested that member states scrap the golden visa. So a matter of time, I think. What else we got going on? Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Did just have a few glasses of red wine though, says Alan. Missed the first 5 minutes. Already started. What time is it, Alan? 8 o'clock. Yeah, I might have a glass a little bit later this evening when I finish, when I'm cooking my meal. Let's see. I bought a nice one yesterday from Extremadura, and maybe I'll show that this week in a food video, weather permitting, of course. I like to film the food videos outside, so if I get a nice sunny day this week, I will, and with my nice Extremeño wine. Ivan also coming in the chat section here. Pamela also coming in from San Juan de los Terreros. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look here quickly in the chat section. Marianne coming in from San Diego. 123 Sean away coming in from Waterford, Ireland. We saw a comment from, I think it was from Sean, 123 Sean away, or maybe it was from Sean the Prawn, can't remember. There's a couple of Seans in the chat section recently. Brian coming in from La Marina. Just started raining there according to the weather forecast. It should be up to 25 next week during the day. That's it. Absolutely, Brian. So a lot of people are going to be waiting for those 25-degree days. Just giving us a taste of what it's going to be like later in the year, or mid-year, I should say, when spring, summer rolls around. We got a taste last year around this time as well. I remember here in Madrid it got up to around 27. I started riding my bike thinking that it was going to stay that way, but it got cold pretty quickly after those few sunny days. Paul coming in from Cunnet, I think that is. Not sure where that is. Hello, Paul. Angela coming in. Angela and John from Menorca. Hope you guys are well on Facebook tonight. Let's have a look. Iggy saying that unfortunately more Americans than I would like to admit that Spain is part of Mexico. Geography is not the strong point. Yeah, I've got people in the comment section every now and again, Iggy, telling me that I need to eat plátano maduro as if it were a Spanish dish. Those plantains, are they called? In Spanish, they're called plátano macho. Here it's Latin American cuisine. If you go to a Latin American restaurant, you can find that type of food, but you won't find that in your average Spanish restaurant. I can guarantee that. So, yeah, a lot of people seem to get it mixed up. Just because they speak the same language doesn't mean that they have the same cuisine or they are in the same geographical location. But a lot of Aussies get it mixed up as well. Don't worry about that. What else we got going on? Here we go. Jay also reaffirming that point. During the 80s and 90s, from my perspective, people were so dumb they didn't even know the difference between Spain and Mexico. Yeah, again, I've met people in Australia that have that exact same problem. They think just because they speak Spanish in Mexico that they must be related, or Spain must be somewhere in the vicinity of Mexico and all of those other Spanish-speaking countries. But of course, it's not the case. And when people finally do realise that Spain is in Europe, it opens their eyes. What else we got going on? Mark in the chat section as well, heading to Murcia next Sunday for a couple of weeks. Well, you're going to coincide with that good weather, Mark, so that's going to be a pro. What else we got going on here? Alan replying to Iggy. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Ken must be in LA. La Paella is here forever. Spanish Kitchen closed years ago. Not much here, apparently. There we go. So, opposite point of view there. Rosa coming in. Hope all are well. Bracing for inclement weather starting from tomorrow here in the UK. Snow and freezing temperatures forecasted. Can't wait to be back on the plane heading towards Malaga and some sunshine to top up my vitamin D levels. Yes, Rosa, important to keep those vitamin D levels high with sun. But also remember to put on a bit of sunscreen. We don't want any long-term skin problems, which are becoming an issue for many, many people, myself included. What else we got going on here? In Valencia, pharmacy masks are also still required. Yeah, pharmacies, health centres, hospitals, I think even vet clinics require you to wear a mask. Some places still. Somebody said the other day maybe some shops might ask you to put it on. I was in a place today where the person on the front desk was wearing a mask. Maybe he was sick. I've got no idea. With the flu or COVID, no idea. But he was wearing a mask. So you still see them around, but in general, no. Hospitals, of course, yes. Compulsory to walk in the front door with a mask on. But nobody's going to ask you for a COVID-19 vaccination certificate. Those days are gone. What else? Diego asking the question, just found your channel. Where do you live in Spain? On the outskirts of Madrid, Diego, about 17 kilometres southeast of the capital city of Madrid. It's about a 20-minute drive into the city, providing there's no traffic. If there's traffic, it can be a little bit longer, but that's where I am. I'm in the Madrid community on the outskirts here. What else we got going on here? Stu lives in Madrid. Yeah, the Madrid community, not Madrid City anymore. I went in, as I said, I went into Madrid City yesterday, and absolute nightmare trying to find a place to park. Cars everywhere, bicycles, people walking, absolute chaos. But once you get the car parked in the car park and you take advantage of everything that Madrid has to offer, fantastic city, fantastic city. All right, we've got a super chat here. Let's see if I can find it. From Marcus, €5. Have a canya and tapa stew. Thank you very much, Marcus. Marcus, will do. Canya and tapa. I might go to 100 Montaditos and have a Montadito and a canya. I reckon I could pick up 3 or 4 Montaditos and a pint for a $5. They've got a special offer on Wednesdays and Sundays, so I might head to 100 Montaditos. What else we got going on here in the chat section? Let's see if I can find something here. Killian coming in. Hope you polished off that bottle of Matsu from the food video a few days ago. Yeah, it takes me a few days to get through it, but I normally do. Started that one at the weekend. I think it was left over from a dinner that we had, and there was probably a couple of glasses left on Wednesday when I filmed that video. So I knocked it off over Wednesday and Thursday, but I went to the supermarket on Friday and got a bottle of something else, which is also a lovely drop. A lovely drop. What else we got going on here? Kevin just saying, just started raining in Martos and Jaén. Forecast for the next couple of days. Here in Madrid too. So I think we're sharing the same weather. Yusuf pointing out that there was a bit of confusion in my latest video, food review video. I used the word prohibitive with regards to olive oil, and a lot of people thought you said prohibited. Yeah, well, they sound similar, and some people did get that mixed up, but I said prohibitive, meaning that the price of olive oil is prohibitive at the moment, and a lot of people are turning to cheaper oils in order to fry. It's not prohibited. Some people thought that olive oil was prohibited here in Spain. Not the case. You can still buy it and use it whenever you want, wherever you want, but it is expensive. So it's a little bit prohibitive. Prohibitive. There we go. But thanks for pointing out the confusion there, Yusuf. Simon suffering from allergies. Me too, Simon. Unfortunately, it's that time of the year and it's only going to get worse. Stuart asking, am I still headed to the Canaries? Saludos desde Valle de San Lorenzo in Tenerife. Yeah, the plan is still to go to the Canaries, Stu, but the problem is that something's happened. I'm not going to mention it at the moment, but it might change the plans. I don't know yet, but I'm still looking to get there. It's just a question of whether this thing can be dealt with over the next week or so. But yeah, still planning to get there. Still planning to get there. Not sure exactly when, but still planning to get there this month. Maybe at the end of the month. What else we got going on here? Andres saying that Valdepeñas, when he was growing up, was his father's favourite wine. Thanks for the memory mentioning it. Yes, still a popular wine for many people, Valdepeñas, especially when it comes to the Menú del Día wine. You'll get a Valdepeñas special, and the Governor is a Valdepeñas wine as well, from Felix Solis, I think is the winery. A very big winery down there in Valdepeñas. Let's have a look. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Let's have a look here quickly. Almost coming to the end of the chat, so we'll start to wrap up the video in a minute or two. El Davido coming in from Camposol. Still looking forward to the heat wave next week, although I've lost that one there. Although hot enough at the moment down there in Camposol. So good to see that you are enjoying the good weather down there. Also, Agate's got back to us here, about an hour west of Portland in Oregon, there in the States. Thanks for that. What else got going on here? Let's have a look. Michael and Mimi coming in from Beaverton, Oregon. So another couple from Oregon here. So lots of, what's the name of people from Oregon? Are you Oreganos? Let us know. I don't know. People from Oregon. I'm sure it's not oregano. This is just a little bit of a joke there. What else we got going on here? Michael travelling to Madrid and Valencia this summer. Hope all goes well with that trip. Let's have a look. Mark asking the question that everybody has on their lips. Just wondering, in the likely event that the PP beat the PSOE in elections this year, have they ruled out a coalition with Vox? Do we know? Well, they won't be able to govern on their own, according to the latest polls, Mark. They're going to have to govern with somebody else. And on the right side of politics here, they are limited because the Citizens Party's virtually disappeared. And the only other strong right-wing party with, I'm not going to say similar values to the PP, but they're more in line with the PP's values, is the party Vox. But they don't want to get into a coalition with Vox. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Because as we know, politics power can change people's opinions very, very quickly, as we saw with Mr. Sanchez a few years ago. He said that he would never get into a coalition with the party that he's currently in coalition with. So words count for nothing, as we know. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here quickly. Let's have a look what's going on. Let's have a look here quickly before I finish. Let's have a look. Talk about Brexit here, moving back to the UK. Not sure what that's about. Harriet's here as well. Matsu was 15 in Carrefour, Castellón. Yeah, there's different types of Matsu. There's one called El Picado, which I think is more expensive, and there's another one as well. There's 3 or 4. But basically the difference, Harriet, is that there's the one bottle's got a young guy's face on it. The 15-euro bottle's got like a 50 or 60-year-old guy's face on it, and then the more expensive one's got an 80-year-old guy's face on it. So those are the 3 different Matsus, I think, and they've all got different names, but not sure what they are exactly. Juan coming in from Montreal, 3 degrees there. Soleado con mucha nieve in Montreal, Canada. Hope all is well. Here we go. Oregonians. Okay, so it's not oreganos. Oregonians. Thank you very much, Juan, for pointing that out. Just curious. Oregonians is the affirmation there from Osuaket. So thanks for pointing that one out. That was just a bit of a joke that I said before about the oregano, so don't take offense, please. Now I'm going to wrap the live stream up. Thank you very much for your participation today in the chat section. Plenty of activity there. Thanks for the super chat from Marcus. Greatly appreciated. And every bit of help, every bit of support helps when it comes to the channel. Thank you very much for that, Marcus. I'll see everybody again tomorrow evening at around 7:35. I'll be back again. So another live stream tomorrow, another one on Tuesday, another one on Thursday. So hope to see you guys then also. We got up to 164 likes today, so not a bad tally. Can't complain. And I'll see everybody in the next live stream. So thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adiós.